afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. John Belkowitz, and I'm here to talk to you today. And I wanted to go over some of the sensors that are available out there. There's a few of them that we've got, and we've used one in a project recently. And what these things are used to do is they're an innovative method for predicting concrete strength. And the use of concrete maturity in the field is governed either by ASTM-C 1074 or your local DOT or some other governing agency might have their own truncated version of this. But 1074 is really the anchor for most maturity methods, and it's called Standard Practice for Estimating Concrete Strength by the Maturity Method. And I really feel like it's important to recognize the first active word there. It is a practice, and then the second word is for estimating. So this is not meant to be the be-all and end-all of making decisions on the concrete job site. Now, I'm not saying whether or not that's not where the industry is going, but right now ASTM-C 1074 is designed to do something very specific, and that's really what I refer to. And if it doesn't say it in the standard, but the future is different. So there are different types of sensors out there. When I first got into the industry, we had this thing called the toaster oven. You plugged a couple wires into the concrete. But now, or years later, we went to this in Telerock by Ingeus, and this was the first one that Whitney and I bought. It's very expensive. It works. It's cumbersome. We had to replace the handheld device, which really is the most expensive piece, one time in the 10 years that we've been using this. And we just used it in a project that we had. You know, I had a client who bought a full case of these things and sold his concrete plant. And I mean, these are expensive unless you buy them in bulk. I think these are like $50 or $55 each. So he gave me a bunch of these. So anytime I'm doing maturity and I don't want to use one of my fancier ones that I use on job sites, I use these because they are reliable. And ding! Like I said, we just did the project and Steven just drilled. So it drilled right over the sample and went like dead center through the logger. So this logger is what this is, and that gets plugged into this handheld device. So yeah, that was a very cumbersome one. Then a few years after that, I was introduced to these I buttons here that are used with a few other handheld devices. And what was great about these things is we could sandwich them in between cylinders with saran wrap and then break open that cylinder later and reuse the sensor. You could never reuse these. These you could reuse, so that was a big step up, and we can apply them in different ways, not only in the on the job site, but also in the lab. And then I've done a lot of articles and done a few videos on concrete IoT, and that's where the game changed. And that was a few years back, where one of my buddies created a company called Geotech and the SmartRock 2. And this is not the SmartRock. I've actually used all of mine on job sites. This is one of his other technologies, but the same thing where when you tie this across a rebar, the device starts working and takes that temperature and time measurement and sends it directly to your phone. And there are a few other devices like this, the NextCure or the Next System by Concure. Those wireless cellular cloud-based systems, I mean, blow these out of the water, especially since I don't have to have one of these for every technician I have on a different job site that's operating maturity. Love these concepts. Still use this to this day, even though it is cumbersome. These I like. It's just I don't have that many of these I buttons, and the wireless versions, I mean, they're just the best, and I absolutely love. And I'd rather all job sites go to these so we don't have to have those folks going out in the field. But that being said, there is a place for these things. So, you know, people complain, is it worth it? And when you're able to have a, you know, I relate it to having another tool in the toolbox. No matter what profession you're in, having another tool in the toolbox means you can either do the job faster or you're more accurate with what you do. And no matter what profession you're in, anytime you get a tool in that toolbox, it might cost you money up front, and it might even cost you money to learn how to use it. But once you become an expert in that tool, in your plethora of tools, then again, you get to do bigger and better things on the job site, bigger and better job sites. Either that or make more money by saving your customer more money through time and making real-time decisions. And using systems like these, this maturity concept, we also did some videos on the math of it, but if you use systems like these, you can effectively do that. Make yourself more efficient on the job site. So hopefully you learned something today and seen the benefit of these concepts. We'll include some links below. All right, thanks for joining us today. Go concrete, beat asphalt.